Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the weekly annual Kiwanis Club of Easton induction. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by God Bless America. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you, everybody. You may be seated. So what I'm going to do is have a moment of gratitude. So we're starting a new Kiwanis here. And we have a few members who dropped off for various reasons. Some of them moved away. Some of them moved on with other parts of their life. But we have a core group of people here who sustain us through thick and thin to power and give us energy for all the great things that this club does. So I'm so grateful for each and every one of you, for those of you who engage in the many different ways that you do, and just keep up the wonderful work that you're doing, because it really does make a difference in our community. All right. Okay. Janet, would you like to come up and we're going to have our induction ceremony.
All right. On behalf of the Pennsylvania District, I would like to welcome you to the installation for the Kiwanis Club of Easton 2024. And we are excited to be here. I'm passionate about our club, and I really am looking forward to this next year. I think it's going to be an awesome year to get people excited about going to the convention, about doing more for our community, engaging with more of the clubs that are in our division. And I really think it'll be something good for all of us. We so enjoyed being with Jan the other day, advocating for those early learners and getting some good information from our candidates for this upcoming election cycle. So anyway, but there's so many ways that we can actually help our community in more ways than what we do, but you do so much. When James was talking about being, rather, that he could have done more, you guys all did so much. I have pictures. I have over 700 pictures of things that you accomplished over the 2 years that he was president. So don't ever downplay what you've done, because what you've done is just absolutely wonderful. All the smiles from the kids, from helping out with the fire, with just rallying around support, finally getting in that little free library.
Yay, Carlos helped with that one.
Yeah, but I mean, never sell your club as being falling short, because it is. But we all come together. Walt, you do such a good job of bringing us all together for the SLPs, and there's so many things that each individual is worth being part of. Chris has always got his hand up. So Joanne's got that smile. Kathy is just involved in everything. Skip needs to he needs to be a pirate. He needs to be a pirate. Rosemary is taking on, 2 different roles. So essentially, I was going to ask, the people that were retiring to stand up. So I don't know if there's anybody really in here other than
Neil.
Neil. Gary's not here.
Neil's retiring as a
Neil can-
past president.
Not really retiring. Moving aside. Yeah. Whatever.
And Gary, Gary needs that recognition too. So if we can ever get him to a meeting where we can recognize him, Gary Tempest, our treasurer, for so many years, how many years?
We have to go out back, maybe we can get them to come to that and we'll provide it, you know.
Yeah,
That would be wonderful. That
That's
would
a
be
great idea.
wonderful, wonderful.
Maybe he can bring his sister along.
yeah.
That would be true.
We can express our gratitude to her as well, because she's provided us with just born candies for quite a while, right?
So you have been immediate past president, how many years? Two,
Wait a minute, they're probably five.
but overall, how many times?
Four
4 times. Neil, I don't think anybody in this room would dispute your commitment to the club. You have stepped up and led in so many ways, and you've stepped back up to be membership chair again, I think. And it's so important. We want to recognize you for your past accomplishments, what you've given to the club, and just we just appreciate everything that you have done. And there's just nobody else that just keeps raising their hand like Neil. So are you going to still raise your hand? Are you still going to raise your hand? So on behalf of the district and the club, we just really appreciate everything. And I uninstall you now as immediate past president, but know that your service is still going to be felt on the foundation. I think you're going on the board, right? Just a
Yeah.
regular board? Oh, well, as soon as I know for here. But anyway, so we really appreciate what you've done, and we look forward to your involvement as you go forward. All right,
Thank you.
so everybody give him a round of applause. All right, Miss Rosemary. In Kiwanis, the club secretary is the master of details. Your role in handling club affairs, the details of the club and board meetings, the reports, the correspondence and records is essential for the club to run smoothly. Thank you for taking on this important role, and I formally install you as secretary for the club again. And she gets to stand again because treasurer is right after that. She's taking on a dual role. And we are sorry that sometimes we are not always so prompt. We will all try to be better as far as getting our stuff in. And I think next year will be better. I need to get mine. All right. Okay. As treasurer, you have been elected to an office that demands absolute integrity and financial and accounting skills. It is your role to deposit and disperse the funds of the club upon the direction of the board of directors. You'll also report on the club's finances at each board meeting. And I want to say thank you for taking on this most important role and for giving Gary a rest after so many years and doing double duty. I mean, that's just incredible. So if there's a way that we can help you, we should try to find that way to make your life more easier. So anyway, thank you for doing both, because not everybody would have done that. Those are two big goals. So, right? Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay, president-elect. Okay, for president-elect, okay, we have Suzanne Gallagher. You have been selected to lead your club during the following year. As you serve on the board this year, take advantage of opportunities to learn about the president's role. And you probably know way too much, probably more so than anybody else. Build relationships and plan for your year as president. Thank you so much for your leadership and for stepping up and your dedication to the club. You do so much for the club in doing your hospitality and doing the newsletter. There is so many things that you do for our club. And I have a special pin that was given to me. If I can find it.
It's even better than the president-elect. No.
It is, it is, it is. It's a special Kiwanis pin. And I'll let you put it on, but it was given to me by one of the best Kiwanians that I know. And anyway, I think that you'll enjoy wearing it. It looks more like a woman's pin. So anyway, we couldn't find the other pin, but we want to say thank you and congratulations. And you're going to do an awesome job.
Let's hear it smile. Come on, give me a smile. Give me a smile. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Beautiful.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, Mr. James.
I'll have a selfie for this one, right?
Well, when the time comes, when the time comes.
Okay.
You're not done yet. You have to do another year.
You're not dead, you're not done.
Your club, James Owen, your club benefits from the immediate past president continuing on for one more year as a member of the board of directors. Your experience as club president this past 2 years will empower you to be an essential mentor and colleague for your successor and a valued advisor on the business of the club. It's my pleasure to present you with your past president's pin. And I think we've got one right here.
Okay.
We'll get you pinned in a minute.
Okay.
And I think it was given by Walt. Did you give that one? Is that your past president pin? And by so doing, to charge you and sharing your wisdom and lending a hand as you remain a member of the board for one more year. And on a very selfish note, I want to say that it really was 2 years of, him worrying about what the club was doing. Writing those letters was hard, but I think he was trying to inspire everybody with those letters. And they were very well-written letters. They were. And he might not could have been there for everything, but I tell you what, when you look over the past, you did a lot. You did a lot, and the club cannot thank you enough. You were there raising your hand when nobody else at that time was raising their hand. So that there's a point for everybody. There's an opportunity for everybody to be involved as much as they want or as little as they want. And you stepped up at a time that we needed you. So thank you so much, James Owen, for doing so much for Easton Kiwanis. So, well, put your pin on you. I'll pin you.
Marine style.
You want it, which side do you want? You want this one? Congratulations. You're done. Almost.
I get to kiss the lieutenant governor.
Before you run away,
Uh-oh.
and before she finishes that new installation, I think there's something that I have. The outgoing president and the incoming lieutenant governor. This is not on the agenda, this is on the Bill Walters agenda. Come on over here, James. After 2 years of president and your incoming position,
Oh,
Oh, thank you for your Kiwanis service.
oh my gosh.
There's a picture of Emma.
Oh, that was perfect. We'll cry.
and there's a little gift from Barb and I.
Oh.
Oh,
So the card reads, James, thank you for being the president of Easton Kiwanis for the past 2 years. And Janet, thank you in advance for accepting the leadership of Division 1718 Kiwanis Club as the lieutenant governor for 24-25. And thank you to Emma for allowing them to serve Kiwanis and the children of the world.
oh, look.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet.
The story behind that's done by P. Buckley Moss, the world-renowned
Oh, thank you so
Sorry.
much, Bill.
from
Thank you
around
so
the
much.
Waynesburg, Virginia
Oh,
area.
I'm gonna cry. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you.
We have a lot of P. Buckley Moss artwork in our house.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's so sweet.
So that's a P. Buckley Moss.
That's,
Well, I don't know if she uses the last name anymore. 'Cause she's
Yeah.
divorced.
oh,
But
yeah.
Patricia Buckley, we have
Okay.
artwork from her studio, she's noted for doing geese.
Oh,
At
Oh,
P. Buckley Mall, you'll see lots of
huh,
artwork with geese
geez.
and no feet.
oh, that's
Hmm.
Either in the
interesting.
grass or in the snow or in the water.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
that's
So if you
interesting.
See more of P. Buckley Mall, come over to our house. So-
Okay, we will have to
Wanted
look
to
it
do
up.
that.
You've got some nice
you, Bill.
pieces. All right, you
Very
can't
nice.
eat yet, Scott. It's your turn.
Now we get the paddles.
You have been elected to the highest office of your club and that your club can bestow upon you. It is an office of great honor and great responsibilities. The success of your club in this new year will depend upon your leadership at club and board meetings as you counsel and inspire your club's committees. In our community, you will be the face of Kiwanis and your club, guided by your club's vision and strategic plan.
We have
You and your board will set goals for improving your members' club experience and increasing the impact of your club's service in the community. Thank you for dedicating yourself to this leadership position. And I hereby formally install you as president of this club, and I sincerely hope that your administrative year will exceed your expectations.
Thank you.
And I cannot express how
Thank you,
much
Kate.
we appreciate your doing this, Scott. We knew that you were leadership material for all of these years, and we're just so hopeful that you are going to have the best year ever.
Thank you.
Okay,
I
and
appreciate
here's
that.
your pen.
Wow.
You can put it
Very
on.
nice. Thanks so
We
much.
do. We hope you have a great year.
Well, we'll be coming to you for a while.
Oh,
And James as well.
oh. We will be there for you. We won't let you.
Thank you very much.
And you
And-
get the bell. Oh my gosh. The bell is
Official.
yours. The bell is yours.
The moving of the bell.
So, so in conclusion, I congratulate you for another year with the Kiwanis Club of Easton. I know that, memberships out, that's a big concern. We have no control over that. We have no control over how people want to go in their lives or what they want to prioritize or how they can't, sometimes they just can't prioritize what we deem is important is not maybe important for them at that time. They've done their share or whatever they could do, but now they must move on. And so we are going to work as a team, I know, to get back to where, we feel that we should be. And so anyway, I'm so happy to have everybody here. And so I I think that we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. We have to just keep working. And Sue, you're going to be great. So you're going to.
And in keeping with tradition, the passing of the gavel and the bell, just as Scott is getting ready to eat, we're going to ask him to speak.
February of 22, I was in Florida and I just left the golf course. Just a happy guy, leaving the golf course, beautiful day, riding back home and phone rings. It was James. And James said, hey, there's something I wanted to talk to you about. And so he discussed a little bit his schedule and whatnot. And he asked me if I was interested in being president-elect. To help out, obviously, with his schedule and whatnot. And James, I was humbled when you asked me that question.
I was humbled when you asked me that question for a number of reasons. Certainly, it hadn't entered my mind at all. I have this schedule where I have 3 months of the year away from Easton, so that does pose some challenges. But truthfully, James, I admired your leadership. I admired your life, your career. I have an interest in aviation, as you know, and I thought, this would be a nice opportunity, hopefully, to get a little more involved in the club, and at the same time become more familiar with James and the interesting life that he leads. And so next thing you know, I'm president-elect. But I made it very clear that I was not going to be president. I'll be president-elect for 2 years, but I'm not going to move into the president's role because it just wouldn't work out the way that the way that our lives are structured. So, well, that didn't work out too good. as things worked out, we spoke with Neil, spoke with Skip a bit, spoke with Bill. Thought, well, maybe for 1 year I could make this work and hopefully be a little bit of a contributor to the club. And so my plans, as they originally played out, didn't come to fruition, and I ended up being president-elect, and now here I am, and I'm humbled to be in front of this group. I'll quote Mike Tyson, the great philosopher Mike Tyson, the boxer. He says, "Plans are great until they get punched in the face, you know, and then plans kind of go out the window." So anyway, here I am. James, I will say one thing. I'm not you, and I so admire you in terms of your ability. I saw that picture of you reading to the kids, you know, and the kids were all around you, and you know your face is just beaming. And I know when you're around kids, you're in your element. And I wish I was more like that. I'm not. I have 4 grandchildren, and I love them dearly. And I think I'm a good grandfather, and I try my best to be good. But you know, everybody has their thing, you know. And I love children, and I'm a sucker for sick kids. When St. Jude's commercials come on, I well up. You know, they just so. But I'm not you in that, and so I might be reaching out to you like the IU20. When you get in front of that group of those kids, I mean, it's showtime. You do a great job. So mark that on your calendar. So I might be calling you for an assist on that. So thank you so much. A couple of things. We do spend the time in Florida, January, February, and March, and I hope that me being in this role and having kind of an unusual lifestyle with being away would help to maybe move the club in a new direction in terms of how do we accommodate unusual lifestyles. You know, not being here every Wednesday for January, February, and March. I'll be back probably once a month because we come back to see our grandkids. So I will be probably attending meals sporadically, meetings sporadically. I will be on every week on Zoom, and I'll also be reaching out to all of you to see who would like to handle. I mean, Sue, obviously, President-elect, you're the number one possibility, but I was reaching out to everybody to see who could fill in for those weeks, and that may be healthy in terms of allowing everybody to be more engaged in the meeting and whatnot. But I will be here every week during those months, and probably once a month back here in person. So I think we can make it work, and I'm very much looking forward to it. The other reason I agreed to do this, and I spoke to Bill about this, I had a very amazing mentor when I came to Easton, and how I got to Easton was to work at the newspaper. And Bill Fifield hired me. I was right out of Temple University, and he was a Temple grad, and I used to get jobs in those days by looking at the classified ads. So I looked into classified, and there was a job at the Easton Express. And I thought, wow, yeah, that might work. I have nothing else lined up. Called up, got an interview, went in, had an interview with Bill Fifield, who was running the display advertising department. And, he found out I went to Temple. He went to Temple. Hey, you got a job, blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, I'm working at the Express. And Bill Fifield, who was very much like my father, a World War II vet. And I adored this guy. He was so important in my life. He sat me down the first day I was there, and he said, I started in October, getting ready to run a full page ad for the Easton Phillipsburg football game. And my job was to call every business in Easton and Phillipsburg to sell a $25 block of advertising for the, hey, go State Liners, go Rovers, and fill up these two pages of. I didn't even know how to get an outside line. I mean, I didn't know how to, he said, go in that room, don't come out till you fill up those 2 pages. So for 5 days, I called every business in Easton and Phillipsburg, and I filled up both of those too. And I had no call reluctance at the end of those 5 days. I could pick up the phone and talk to anybody, but that was the plan. He wanted me to be able to speak to people. And by the end of those 5 days, I was having a ball selling those things. And that's where I got hooked on commission sales too. But anyway, so that was Bill Fifield. Remember Kiwanis? He got me into Kiwanis. He says, you've got to get into this club. You'll meet people, you'll meet businesses, you'll do good things, you'll have a lot of fun. And here we are 40 years later, and I'm still a Kiwanian. But it was all because of Bill Fifield. And so my year as president, I would like to make it in honor of Mr. Fifield. He's a wonderful man. His wife is still living. She lives right down the street from us. I'll be taking her a dozen roses at the end of the, when the roses are delivered. And so that's, you know, I want to commit to, you know, to his memory this particular year. The other thing that is very high on my list is I have 2 grandchildren at Cheston School, and there is no SLP at Cheston. My daughter-in-law's pretty active in the PTA. She does a lot of work there, and well, by the end of the year, come hell or high water, we're going to make some progress on that at Cheston. So we'll see how we can do on that. So good or bad, I guess you're stuck with me for the next year. How many of you are familiar with Ken Blanchard? Ken Blanchard, like the business writer, Stephen Covey, Ken Blanchard, John Maxwell. I have over my career become a book nut when it comes to the leadership books that are out there. And Blanchard has a very interesting thing called situational leadership. It's how do you lead people based on their development level? And James, you could probably relate to this in learning how to fly an airplane. You know, when you decide you want to fly an airplane, James, you're very excited about it, right? Oh, I want to be a pilot. I want to do this. So you're full of enthusiasm, but you don't know anything about the airplane. Nothing. Now, once you get in the cockpit, and maybe fly around, your instructor gives you a little bit of all of a sudden you think, this is tougher than I thought. You know, so you go from being an enthusiastic beginner to what they call a disillusioned learner. And when you're a disillusioned learner, that's a very bad place to be, because that's where people quit jobs. That's where people leave organizations. Being a disillusioned learner, if you're a good leader and you spot somebody who's in that particular situation, you have to get on them and give them a lot of support and give a lot of directions and help them to get out of that particular level of development until you get them into level 3, which is something called a capable but cautious performer. And then finally on to the independent self-achiever. So I would say, as your new president, I'm in developmental level number 2. I'm a bit of a disillusioned learner. You know, before I actually started looking at all this stuff, I was an enthusiastic beginner. And I thought, wow, I could take on the world. This is not too bad. And you know, as it got closer and closer, things happening, and all of a sudden you think, wow, there's more involved in this than I thought there was. So I've moved into D2 level of development. So what I need from you is 2 things. I need support and I need direction. And so don't hesitate to tell me that you're not, this isn't working. You got to do it this way. You got to do it that way. I would prefer if you just pick up the phone and call me. That's the best way. And I like to talk on the phone. Notes are fine, but it's nice to talk on the phone as well. So if there's any issues or anything, ideas even better, you know, pick up the phone and call, and we'll try to implement them and keep the organization moving forward. You know, our strategic plan calls for structure, committees, membership, and finance. They're the 4 focuses that we decided to take away from the strategic plan. What it's going to require is good, strong committees to support those 4 areas of focus, those 4 priorities. So we have to make sure the committees are full and dedicated. Neil heading up the membership committee one more time. Well, he said he wasn't going to do it, but that wasn't one of the options. So anyway, we'll give you all the support you need, Neil, but we need you. That's right. Exactly right. We'll help you out with that. I think the Kiwanis International focus around membership, which is building, nurturing, and retaining, you know, are the things that we need to continue to focus on. We have what 12 people here, right? We got a membership of 42, with 28 people out there that decided not to come today, and for one reason or another, many of them very good reasons. But we need to stay, you know, we need to nurture those folks back into, hopefully into the into the cycle. I myself, I would prefer to go in terms of membership quality versus quantity. People who understand that we want you to be engaged and hopefully enjoy being engaged. And of course, that's the only way we're going to keep them. There's a good saying that I have always remembered. People don't leave companies, people leave people. There's great organizations out there. I grew up and spent my career for 40 years in the insurance business. There's wonderful companies that are 150 years old and great people that work for them. And when people leave those companies, they're not leaving the company. They're not leaving Mass Mutual. They're not leaving Guardian. They're not leaving Met. They're not leaving Prudential. They're leaving the people that they work with. And I think our club is the same way. Kiwanis is good, but so is Rotary, and so is the Lions, and they're all good clubs. But we want to, people don't leave clubs, people leave people. We want to make sure that people are having a good time here, and I think they do. I mean, we do. This is this core group here, which is a mighty group for sure. They enjoy each other, and I hope as we move along here, we get to know each other even better. As far as administratively, I'm pretty organized. I work in the morning early. I usually at my desk in the morning about 5 o'clock. And I don't know how you are with your biorhythms. Everybody know their biorhythms. I'm very creative in the morning, very creative. I can write and I can do great stuff. But as the day goes on, I lose my creativity. So I've tried to fix my life that my creative stuff is in the morning and my task-oriented stuff is in the afternoon. So by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Skip, I'm mowing the lawn, stuff where I don't have to think, just get it done, get it done, get it done. But the morning is good for me. So you're on your computer and you have a question, you want to chit chat, Bill, anything, shoot a note out. I'm probably there. I don't sleep too much and I do get up very early. I'm not a complicated person. I'm usually when people, they think I'm detail oriented. Oh, you're so detail oriented. If I take a test, I take a Myers-Briggs or any one of the personality tests or the style tests, I'm not that oriented. I'm not a detail oriented type of guy. In fact, ENTJ, meaning I like people. I get my energy from being with people. Yeah, but I don't get my energy from my head on my desk, punching numbers. But anyway, that being said, as simple as we can make things, the better. If one page, whatever can be said in 2 pages can probably be said in 1 page. And so trying to keep it as simple as possible. What's that?
Smaller print.
Yeah, well, you change the font size. That's good. That's a good point. That's a very good point. But, I would prefer to keep things simple. I'm a big, since I retired, I got into, I was used, when I worked in the financial planning aspect of the organization. I've always been around a lot of planning type of an environment. So I made a life plan when I retired. What do I want to do in retirement? Because it's tough to turn off the just boom, walk away from it, and all of a sudden you're working 14 hours a day, and now you don't have those responsibilities anymore. Again, it's tough to do that. So I put together a plan of what my life would look like, and certainly Kiwanis was one of the items in there that in my social give back area, it would be involvement back in the Kiwanis. But I also wanted to continue to keep my mind focused if I could on and expand my mind in different directions. I became involved in Stoicism. Anybody know anything about Stoicism? Stoicism is the Stoics. And I got involved with an author by the name of Ryan Holiday. And so for me, my Christian beliefs are my belief system. Stoicism is my operating system. This is what I believe, and this is how I operate. And so I've got very, very comfortable with Marcus Aurelius and his writings and how he looked at life. But this is, I would kind of like this to be our, for the next year, at least our motto here, when we think about how we operate and whatnot. Because this is one of Marcus Aurelius's favorite sayings. He says, in your actions, don't procrastinate. In your conversations, don't confuse. In your thoughts, don't wonder. In your soul, don't be passive or aggressive. In your life, don't be all about business. So that would be, I think, what we do here. I hope we do here. It's not all about business. It's about having fun. It's about wanting to come to the come to this place every week. And I guess at times things get a little sideways once in a while. That's how it is in life. But I'll just share a quick story for you, and then I'll sit down, eat my lunch there. So a few weeks ago, Judy and I went to New York to see a show. And we saw the show. It was a great show. We stayed overnight, thought, well, we get up in the morning, take the train uptown, and we'll have some breakfast and then come back home. So we get up early, get on the train, head uptown, and New York City on Saturday night, there's a gazillion people walking everywhere. It's a mess. Sunday morning, where'd they go? There's nobody around. So that's how it was. We're sitting on the subway, going up, there's nobody around. And all of a sudden we stop at a station, and this guy with 3 young kids comes in the door. And he sits down, he's got kind of this blank look on his face. And these kids are just terrible. Terrible. I mean, swinging from the straps. And it's just, and he has no inclination to stop him. And so I said to him, I said, hey, just kind of, no response. So another one bumps into Judy. I said, sir, can you just control your kids just a little bit? I mean, there's not that many people on the car here. He never says a word. And this kept getting worse and worse. And finally, I walked up to him and I stood up and I said, why can't you control your kids? And he looks up at me and he says, we just left the hospital. Their mother just died. So that story is not true. But there is a point I wanted to make with it. That story comes out of the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. In the chapter that deals with paradigms. And what's a paradigm shift? What's a paradigm shift? Paradigm shift is when all of a sudden your view of a situation changes dramatically, and everything. When I told you his wife died, all of a sudden you were thinking, man, he's not taking care of his kids. This is terrible. And then all of a sudden you think, what can I do to help? Because our view of the situation changed. And so Marcus Aurelius is really big on that. We can choose to have any perspective that we want on a particular situation. We have not had a great couple of days. Our house in Florida is, I hope after this meeting, and that's another thing, you don't want to pray that your house is okay because the storm's going to hit somebody else. If you say, geez, I just pray that it goes north of us. There's a million people north that are in the middle of it. If it goes north, so you pray that the storm dissipates. Maybe that's good for everybody, So that it's not been good. But the thing you learn, that I've learned is that I have no control over that storm. Nobody has control over that storm, And you look at Stephen Covey, and he says, circle of influence, circle of concern. You think of a bullseye. The middle of it is your circle of influence, the things that you can control. The outside is your circle of concern, which you can be concerned about, but you can't do a darn thing about. I cannot at all control that hurricane. So I should be concerned about it, but it's not something I have any influence over. And so I think, as we talk about things and issues that are before the club, the dues are a good example. Circle of influence, circle of concern. We have no control over the dues. It's within our circle of concern. We can talk about it. We're not going to change it. So staying focused on our circle of influence. And what would that be for us? What's our circle of influence as a Kiwanis club in Easton, Pennsylvania? What are we focused on that we can make a difference on?
Our servants, our kids.
The kids, right? The kids. So if at the end of every meeting, we can say, we did something, we've got something ready to go, we'll impact more kids. I think that'll be a successful meeting. So thanks a lot. I look forward to getting to know all of you. I know most of you pretty good. Ken and I have gone out to breakfast together. I didn't even know Ken before I came back to Kiwanis, and now I count him as a very good friend. We have nice conversations, and I think we enjoy each other very much. So looking forward to a good year. I hope I don't disappoint you. If you are feeling anything is going not in the right direction, let me know, Kathy, okay? Just pick up the phone and call. Say, hey, Scott, I don't like that. I don't like what you said. I don't like how you said it. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I really am. So, all right. Well, thank you. Looking forward to the year. James, thank you.
All right. Wonderful meeting. Wonderful changing of the guard. And I will say, is there anyone else for the video? I'm gonna get in the ring the bell.
Yeah, no, I've been waiting for this.